Hi, my name is Sarah Ellis and I'm here to talk to you today about lower back pain in kiteboarding. Now, I've got a doctorate in physical therapy and I'm a certified personal trainer, but most importantly, I'm completely obsessed with the sport of kiteboarding. So, if you spend some time out on the water, you end up with back pain halfway through your session, maybe you're a little overpowered, maybe you're not, maybe you've got bad form on the board, but whatever the reason, I'm going to talk to you today about some stretches and exercises that should help you stay pain-free during your kiting session. So, first thing to keep in mind is that if you have severe pain that lasts longer than 2 or 3 days, you need to go ahead and consult your physician about that, because some of the exercises that I'll be giving you today can actually do more harm than good if you have things such as a disc bulge or nerve impingement. So be sure to consult your physician before starting this workout program if you have anything other than a little mild muscle associated back pain. So, getting started with preventing back pain. As soon as you hit the beach for your kiting session, you want to pump your kite up. Okay, serves two purposes: gets you ready for kiting and also gets your body warmed up. Now, some people actually experience back pain while they're pumping their kite up. So one little tip to keep in mind while you're pumping is to keep your knees slightly bent, because if you lock your knees back while you're pumping up your kite, it's going to put a lot of stress on your lower back. But if you bend your knees while you're pumping, then it'll help your hamstrings take the brunt of that pressure, so you'll get a lot less pain through your back while you're pumping your kite. So you get your kite pumped up, you get your lines set up, then next you want to run through 1 minute flat of stretches. So it won't take long, but it will really help you loosen up before your kiting session and probably help you last longer on the water. So first stretch we want to go through is a stretch to get your lower back and hamstrings. You just want to keep your knees slightly bent and bend down and try and touch your toes. Now, try not to force this stretch. You want to go in nice and easy and just feel a gentle stretch on the back of your hamstrings and possibly one in your lower back. So after you do that stretch, you want to reach up toward the sky and stretch your back out the other way. Now, if you find your hips get really tight when you're kiteboard, you want to take a step back with one leg and then reach up so that you're also getting a stretch along the front of this hip flexor. Okay? Now, go ahead and switch legs, do the other side, reach up, get a nice stretch, and then after you finish that, you want to quickly sit down. You're going to spread your legs apart. Now, if you have your legs really wide, you're going to end up getting more of a stretch on your inner thigh and adductor and your hamstrings instead of your lower back. So you want to take your legs a little bit more than you could normally spread apart for your max range and keep them there, and then reach as far as you can past your leg, trying to look around behind you. Okay, this is going to stretch your hamstring and it's also going to get the opposite side of your lower back. So you want to hold this stretch for about 15 seconds, trying not to bounce. You see a lot of people in there on these videos and they're bouncing. That's really bad for your muscle, especially if it's not fully warmed up, then you can tear it. Okay, so gently hold that stretch. Now, finish that. Bring your legs together, sit up really tall, cross your leg over. Now, try not to slouch into the stretch. You want to try to sit up as tall as possible. Once again, you want to try to turn around and look behind you, putting pressure with your elbow against the outside of your knee. Okay, so turn around, hold that stretch for another 15 seconds and you should feel it stretching out your hips. And as you're a kiteboarder, you'll know kiting really works those outer hip muscles, so we want to get those along with your back. Okay, so hold that stretch. As soon as you finish that one, spin around, sit down on your knees and rest back. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to relax those hamstrings and get a nice stretch on your lower back. And then you're ready to go. So jump up and get kiting. This series of core strengthening consists of 5 different exercises. And here to help me with that is my fellow water sports enthusiast friend, Katie. Now, Katie, if you'll just go ahead and assume the first exercise, which is a plank hold position. Now, there are several important things to think about when you're in a plank hold, and the first one is that you have to be squeezing. If you're not squeezing your stomach up and you're pushing out with your feet, you're doing yourself absolutely no good. So, first you want to establish that if you were to do this exercise on a hardwood floor with slippery socks on, your feet would not slide out at all. That's how much you want to squeeze up with your stomach muscles. Now, for the first exercise, you're going to do squeezes up and down. So Katie, if you'll go ahead and drop your hips down toward the ground and then squeeze up through the small of your back. Very good. You want to pretend like you've got a string attached to your belly button and you're pulling it up toward the ceiling. Now, for demonstration purposes, If you could do this exercise wrong for me, can you lead with your tailbone for me? So drop down and then squeeze up, relaxing your stomach, lifting with your tailbone. Good. Now do you see how she's got a really big arch in her back and it's actually hurting her back versus helping? Now, if you'll squeeze up with your stomach again, now she's utilizing all of her good core strength in order to do this exercise. All right, so now you want to repeat that 10 times. And then once you get stronger, you want to go straight from one exercise to the next. Now, for the second exercise in the series, you want to make sure you squeeze up, have a nice hold utilizing only your stomach muscles, and you want to march your feet, trying not to shift your hips. So you see how she holds her hips nice and still? Very good. The other thing you want to make sure you do is keep your shoulders nice in line with your body. So if you'll scoot forward for me, see this is a bad position, and now scoot back all the way. This is a bad position, okay? You want to pretend that you're a nice plank of wood and everything is holding nice and in line. Now if you'll shift your hips on this exercise, so you see how as Katie goes to lift her foot, she shifts off to one side. So this is the wrong way to do that exercise. So you want to make sure you hold nice and tight in the center. Don't let anything move and march your feet. Now the third series in the plank hold is knee tucks. So Katie, if you'll go and do that, you want to hold right in the middle, and what you're going to do is you're going to gently tuck a knee under your body, come back up to center, and then tuck the other leg under. Now as you tuck, you want to think about squeezing your knee up toward your chest, not pushing with that opposite foot. Once again, pretend that you're on a hardwood floor and that you have on socks, and you would slip out if you do any pushing at all. That's called cheating. So you want to repeat this 20 times, 10 each leg. Always coming back up to a nice centered, stable position where you're squeezing up through your belly button. Now for the second exercise in the series, Katie, if you'll go into a side hold for me. Now this is like the plank except you're holding on one arm. Now important key things to remember about this exercise is you want to stay nice and straight down from your shoulder. So you see how she's not shifted, go ahead and shift up for me. So you see how she's not shifted up on her shoulder and it's directly underneath her body. Now once again, you want to be thinking about squeezing. If Katie starts pushing, her body is going to shift down, and as she looks down, her elbow is not going to be in line with her shoulder. It's going to be up toward her head. Go ahead and shift back up for me. Very good. So now from this one, you want to do gentle squeezes up and down. So drop down and then squeeze up. Now this should be incredibly hard. If it's easy, then you're cheating and pushing. You should not feel this at all on the top of your shoulder, but you should be utilizing those deep inner core muscles to squeeze your body up. Basically, you're holding your entire body up by your core strength. So you can see how this will help with kiteboarding. Now the second exercise in the side plank series is a leg lift. So you're going to squeeze up, utilizing your side oblique muscles and transverse abdominals, and then you're going to give me leg lifts, keeping your foot parallel to the ground as you lift up and down. Now once again, you want to maintain a nice stable position on the shoulder, focusing on squeezing and not pushing out. Good. Now the third exercise in the plank hold series is going to be a wrap. So you're going to wrap underneath your body and then open up as far as you can. Very good. Now, as you open up, you want to make sure you maintain a nice squeeze up so you're also not pushing. Go ahead and wrap under. Now, if you tend to push when you wrap under, go ahead and wrap under again for me, Katie. If you tend to push when you wrap under, you're going to notice that you're going to be looking more at your arm. Now, if you squeeze a lot when you wrap under, your chin is going to end up over your arm. So you want to pay close attention to where your body lines up as you wrap underneath. Okay, if you'll give me a couple more. Very good. All right. Now the third exercise in the core strengthening series is going to be a push-up position. So go ahead and go into that position for me, Katie. And you're going to do alternating knee tucks. Now you're going to take your right leg and try to touch your right knee to your left forearm. Good. Go ahead and alternate for me and drop just a little bit lower. Very good. Now, ways to cheat on this exercise. If you notice your arms and shoulders moving a lot back and forth while you do the exercise, or if you notice your elbows bending at all, if you notice Katie's elbows stay nice and straight, she doesn't let them hardly bend, and she drops her leg under. Once again, focusing on squeezing, although if you don't squeeze on this one, you'll never make your knee to your arm. This one I find is a great one for kiteboarding endurance because it involves your legs and your hip muscles along with all of your core strength. Now the fourth exercise in the core strengthening series is going to be a bridge. Now, it's going to be a single leg bridge, but you want to go ahead and start out with a double to make sure you can do it. So Katie, if you'll demonstrate a double leg bridge for us. Very good. You want to make sure you squeeze all the way up and then come down, barely tap the ground, and then all the way back up. Great, so you don't want to rest at the bottom or pause too long at the top. You want to get a nice squeeze using your lower back and glute muscles. Okay, now if you feel like, all right, this is a piece of cake, I need to move on, then let's go into a single leg bridge. So same thing for the single leg bridge. You want to lift all the way up and then come all the way down, barely tap the ground, and then back up. Now, important things to remember while you do this exercise are trying to keep your non-supporting hip slightly higher than your supporting hip. Now, to give yourself a little bit of feedback on this exercise, you want to keep your hands on your hips, trying to push that side up. This is going to help strengthen the back stability muscles, which are going to help you push your hips forward to have good posture on your kiteboard. All right, the fifth exercise in the core strengthening series is a Superman. Now, this is going to directly target your lower back muscles. A few key things to keep in mind before you get started with this exercise is to make sure you always tighten your abdominal muscles before extending. Now, if Katie will not tighten her abdominal muscles and extend up, you'll see that she breaks right at her lumbar spine. Now, relax for me. And this puts a lot of pressure on your facet joints, and it's just really bad for your lower back. So anytime you want to extend up and do a Superman exercise, you want to make sure you tighten your abs, the rectus abdominis muscles, and this helps you safely extend your back. So go ahead and tighten your stomach for me and lift up. Very good. So the other thing I want you to keep in mind is if you'll open up your shoulders a bit and point your thumbs up slightly toward the ceiling, good. This will help you not impinge your shoulder. So if you have any shoulder issues or shoulder tightness, now go ahead and come all the way down. You want to barely tap and then lift back up. Now the lower back muscles are posture muscles, which means they have to hold you for long periods of time, which you've probably already figured out in your kiteboarding session. They start to get tired after an hour or two. So what you want to specifically target with this exercise is not relaxing on the ground. So you just want to come down, barely tap, don't get any rest, and then lift back up. That way these muscles are constantly being fired and they don't get any rest. That way we can have the most efficient strengthening possible. Now, as you're looking at your exercise series, you want to start off with 5 sets of each exercise, taking plenty of breaks between, then see how your body recovers the next day. Now, for max capacity for doing this workout, you want to go right from one exercise to the other without taking a break, 10 of each, repeating the whole series 3 times. So good luck, and you'll be a lot stronger after you've been able to finish this workout program.